Yeah, remember something very important. Every answer is based on evidence. For example, we need to know why A, why B, why C, why not. The test maker always find the evidence in the text to support the answer. So always we need to find. So now together, let's find why D is correct. Let's find any detail, any phrase um, to use the style of writing to support. Let's find number one, what kind of word it's a noun. Let's go, what does it describe? For example, though not close related. That means two things not related. And we have though. So though not related, so that is means they are similar in something. This is the first evidence. So here hedgehog strength of Matsakar basic share what? Share similarities because he mentioned here they are not similar. And we have though, so they are similar. But that means we don't get examples. Imagine it.
Yes.
That means not A. Do they share concerns? We don't know. Let's continue. He said here, share something, including. That means the writer used the techniques of giving examples to something already mentioned there. Where are the examples? All of these. And then we have explanation after the dash. Traits. And the traits, we can say similarities. So this means they share the same features, the same similarities, the same traits. That's all. So it's not concerned, it's not worrying about something. So B, it's not supported in text. But why not to be C? Because I'm not talking about indications to support art of something. So already we have evidence for. So letter C not supported in the text. So letter D it is correct. That's it. So the test maker is making the answers based on evidence in the text. Your job is to find what kind of text. Now, what kind of evidence used here? Given examples, using explanation after the dash, and using the contrast way between two IDs. Here it is the same. We need to find together right now. Why the answer it must be letter B? We need to find any evidence. Number one, what kind of word? It's adverb. So what does the adverb describe? So describe this kind of noun. This is because it's adjective. Now let's see. In editor, introduction to her anthology, the name, more, okay, and so on. Yes, identifies what? An increase in sense of what? Of writing in the 1970s. In contrast to, so this is part, in contrast to this part. So in contrast to many women author the science fiction stories of two whose politics were less deliberately signaled. So
Mhm.
less deliberately, it means not intentionally to do something in your story or you refer to an idea, but not intentional, not openly, not openly. So we need something from the answers opposite to this part. So less deliberately means not intentionally. Yes or no? So the opposite is to be intentional or open, and that means overtly. So overtly already opposite to this part because he said in contrast to. Okay, why not C? Because cordially it has the Latin root cord, and the cord means you are talking about something lovely or you are
Yeah.
talking about something gently, but we are not talking about the mode is gentle. You see, or does not make any sense. You see, because we are describing the mode of writing. How can we describe it gentle or lovely? It's not supported in the after or before. But that is means we don't have. About prudently. Prudently, it means just like to do something in a careful way, to be cautious, to think too much before you do something. But we are not talking about that here. Because he said the authors use ideas in the stories deliberately to refer to something in politics, for example, but they do it less deliberately. The opposite to do it deliberately. So that is the point. Catch it?
Yes.
So we test you. But the problem is inadvertently means unintentionally, because advertently means intentionally. In means unintentionally. Okay, my letter D means less deliberately. We need something opposite to this, not the same. So what is the wrong in letter D? That it's a synonym of that, but we need opposite. This means the letter D, it's not support. Letter A, not related to the context, or there is no any mention about that. That's why. So any question like that, find details in the text to support your answer. Let's try this one together, and let's prove it why B is correct. We need to know why. Number one, let me read. All of these verb plus ing, so it's a present participle phrase. So verb. So all of these verbs, your job find the subject and the object. Now, for example, exasperating the long-standing trend of overemphasizing teenagers and young adults in research on social media. Scholars, the scholar is the subject. Here we need the verb and the object. What is the object? This is one. So scholars do what for the long-standing trend of. So they do something. To do that, something, they have recently begun to expand their focus to include the fastest growing cohort of social media users. What kind of users? Senior citizens. So they began to do this part. Why? To avoid the focusing on oversizing the teenagers only. But that means they see that the research and the studies overemphasize, they focus too much on teenagers and they ignore the senior citizens. But that means they wanted to remedy something, is to readdress something, to resolve a problem, to refocus again on something. But that means the letter B is correct, because redress means you are going to resolve a problem, for example, like that. But why not A? Because it does not make sense. Exasperating means just like to make something very bad, like, you see, or to make something worse. But how to make the emphasizing worse? We are going to solve this problem. So A, it has no any mention. Do you imagine it?
Yes.
But why not to be C? Because the content does not make sense. Why? Because epitomize means from the word epitome. Epitome means to give example to make something understandable. Okay, but this is not an example to this point. So is not, because there is no any evidence in the text, not in my mind in the text. And so what means the preclude? So I must understand what means the preclude in general English. So preclude is this common word means to stop something from advancing or to stop progress. But here they didn't mention that they wanted to stop the focus on teenagers. No, they wanted to change the focus on teenagers only. And they wanted to include another kind of people or users. So it's not to stop something or preventing something. So letter D does not make sense, or it's not evident. There is no evidence or indication in the text about it. This is called a question making. So we have techniques in any test we follow it. Do you have evidence? So use it. If it's not, delete it. Again, number four. Number four here, for example, we test you for the context. What does the word mean? Now look at the answer. What all of these verb plus ing. So find the subject, find the object. So from the reading, I must find all of these. Remember, we read all of it, but very quickly. Why? Because if this is one not useful, test maker will delete it. So he keep it for you because there is evidence or details here will help you to understand. Let's see. Here the following is adapting. Okay. The narrator is writing. The narrator is riding in a taxi down street, lined with food. Okay. So the multitude Mhm. We always read very quickly because we need to read again. They put on first black, and here they were disputing. That means they. What are they? Who are they? Now disputing every inch our passage. To see, so disputing every inch our passage with their wagons. So that is means they want to say that the vendors and the shoppers, they disputing us. So if I am going in the street and the people disputing my way with their wages and then hand the trucks and their Boston and everything. So what are they doing? Are they arguing? Are you going about what? That just means they interrupt my way, distract my way, stop my way, resist my way, this anything. So it's not about arguing about ideas. It's not about disagree or disapprove or endorsement about something. So be it wrong. It's not about to assert that they have something wrong, but they resist. And resist means just like to stop something from progressing. And that's happening here. They are passing in the street and people stop to them. So letter D, it's related to the word dispute. But generally in English, the word take all of this meaning. Okay, but the context here it's not. That is the point. Feel it?
Yes.
That's why. So making questions depends on techniques. We know the techniques, we need evidence. Now let's find. Number 5, let's prove together why D correct. Let's read. Number 1, what kind of words here? It could be adjective, 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 adjective. So what does this adjective describe? Describe noun. What's it? Let's go to noun. While recent scholarship has undermined, and we know undermined means it's just like to put less importance on something, or to ignore something, or don't care about something. Okay. Claimed that the works of 12th century Islamic philosopher. So the works of this philosopher were what? Were what by? So this is a subject, this is a verb, this is the adjective. So we need adjective to describe the works. Now your job to find the information about the works. Are these works controversial? They argue about it, they disagree, because contra means they disagree as the Latin root. Contra, counter means you against something, you disagree. Let's read to find any evidence. So the works were what? Other Muslim philosophers of his time. He said it is. Look, remember while. Remember while it means we need contrastive ideas. So this is idea, it's opposite to this idea. So it is indisputable. It means it's believable because dispute means you disagree and the in you agree. But when I say indisputable, it means it's believable. It's correct. It's true. That what his location in the Muslim ruled area of what is now Spain meant that his works were primarily available thousands of miles west of Iran's center of Islamic thought. That just means it was too far between his location and between the other Muslim philosophers. That just means they don't know each other, or the Muslim philosophers are not affected by his works, or there is no connection between them, there is no more interaction. But we don't have any information to say that they disagree or argue about the works, so he's wrong. And debate the same meaning. Antagonistic toward this means this work against these works, or this is philosopher working against this philosopher, or they are in disagreement. They are not. So B is wrong. Do we have any information to say the works were imitated or copied? Don't have any information that Muslim philosophers copied or take copies from his works. There is no any evidence. But inconsequential means these works have no effect because consequence means effects to the Muslim philosophers. Means these Muslim philosophers are not affected by his works. They don't take any ideas from him. That means the letter D, it is supported. Why? Because it's too far. Primarily available thousands of miles west. This means we need evidence in the text. Now let's find the next. Always we read the question very quickly. So the function of the underlined sentence. So I must read very quickly the details, but I focus on this part. Remember, sometimes we can read before and the sentence very quickly because I need time to check the answers. Let's go for it. Here on, return to, okay, his study, his style, underwent, and underwent suffered from what? An abrupt transformation. Abrupt means something sudden happened. Something happened without planning. So turning away from landscapes. So this sentence explains how the abrupt transformation happened. So after reading very quickly, I'm going to check. If the underlined elaborates on the previous sentence statement about a transitional moment in his artistic career, this could be yes or no.
Yes.
So it could be or not. It could
Could
be
be.
because it explains how this transformation happened. He said turning away. He left something, he goes to something else. And the author already gives me what means by expression style. Between two dashes, details to explain something before. So the style of writing helped me to understand. So turning away who? Who did this action? John began painting portraits of Black Americans in bold new way. So it could be letter A. But wait, why not B? Because we need to know how the test maker think. The test maker give you ideas not related to the underlined. It provides information about travels. No, it's about the abrupt transformation. So without reading, I will not continue. I will not continue reading the answering. It's really wrong. It recounts a moment in Johnson's personal life. Maybe. But wait, that enabled the success of his subsequent career, which is summarized in the following sentence. What is the following sentence? Evocative African sculptures and American Scandinavian folklore, these portraits. He talks about these portraits, not about his personal life. So letter C, the half of the answer is wrong. So many answers we make it half correct, half wrong. Again, it presents evidence that calls into questions the preface sentence characterization. Calls into a question means to doubt something. Okay, but this is one does not put questions or doubt or opposite to the preface. It's not. So it's opposite. So letter D not supported in the text. This is the way of answering making. That's why. But what is limited to your thinking is the question. What does the question need exactly? Here again, the main purpose of the text. What means I'm going to focus on the first sentence and then read the details and then I focus on the last. But through reading, memorize the most important ideas. For example, let's memorize. Number one, we have when. So we have two actions happened by commas. Two clauses joined by comma. So when classical pianist Martha performs, when she performs, it appears as if the music is coming to her spontaneously. So without thinking. And if ideas come to you spontaneously, it means you master it. Your brain master it, memorize it. Okay. She is highly skilled technically, but what? But because of how freely she plays and her willingness to take risk, she seems relaxed and natural. So remember, all the ideas focus on her. Her apparent ease is because a tremendous amount of preparation. Okay, again, despite argument, experience, and virtuality, she never takes for granted that she knows a piece of music. Instead, instead of all of these, She approaches the music as if encountering it for the first time and tries to understand it anew from the beginning. Now, for the main purpose, find ideas not in the text at all. There is no any evidence. Yes or no? Yes, it is. So now let's find why A is wrong. Let's prove why B is correct. Why A wrong? To provide the details about how this person, Argerich, identifies which piece, give us not all the information about how does she identify the piece of music. I have a lot of ideas about her experience, how does she perform, how is it easy to do. So A not support. Look for letter C to discuss the kind of music feels most comfortable. Okay, so I'm not talking about the kind of music she feels comfortable or not. And he didn't mention here many kinds of music, just like mention music general. So letter C will support it. Again, for letter D, to describe the unique way that Argerich approaches music she hasn't performed before. But does not
Mhm.
support it. We could look to assert to confirm that the performances look effortless. That means she does not make efforts when she performs because she prepares for them. Do we have any evidence to this that? Yes. Tremendous amount of preparation. And the it appears as if music is coming spontaneously. Yes or no? Yes. And she has a lot of experience and virtuosity. That means we have details for letter B. That's right. So we give you ideas, it's not supported in the text, but don't focus on or on the words of the answer. The idea itself is all the text about the unique way, no, but about her preparation. So let it be correct. That's it. Any passage must be the same. It's a problem that we have details in the text itself. Your job to summarize through reading, but very quickly, according to what does the question need exactly. Again, here, function of what's underlined only. So my job, I'm going to read before, but very quickly, and after very quickly to check what does this mention. Let's read here. Adapted. Okay, so Israel is a young, wandering. All right, he hired himself. So here being no law in the country to force him to fulfill it, Israel. And then he add non-essential information, emphasize the information to describe him. Look between the dashes. So Israel, who, however, brave-hearted and even much of a dared devil upon a pinch. So, however, what? Who seems nevertheless to have advanced throughout many parts of his career, singular patience and mildness. So Israel was obliged to look round for other means, other ways of livelihood, for making living, for making money, then clearing out a farm for himself in the wilderness before. Now I'm going to check all the answers, and every answer needs evidence. You still with me? Yo,
Yes.
now let's prove together why B is correct. Number one, it implies the underlined all in all the text Israel treasures a particular characteristic of his personality when that characteristic should usually be regarded as a flaw. So all the answers are correct, but in the underlined, he didn't mention this characteristics or characteristic is a mistake or a mistake in life or a trouble in life. There is no evidence just to mention a flaw. So A, not support. Look again, it shows why Israel would not have been able to undertake enormous amount of labor, would not have. He didn't mention that he is not able to work hard or to be responsible for much work. So it's not supported. Again, it explains why, look, why Israel is able to undertake courageous acts that others would generally avoid. He didn't make a comparison between his characteristics and the others. He didn't mention the others because all the information about him. That means we add details, it's not supporting the text, so let it be wrong. Now again, it suggests that if not for a certain aspect of his character, however, Israel might not have been as easily thwarted. What means thwarted? He is not prevented. You see, he is not sad to stop searching for a way to help to achieve his ambitions. He never stopped. He was obliged to look around for other means of livelihood. He never stopped. He always convinced himself to look for many ways. فده means the letter B is support.
Mister, just a second.
Yes. You ready now?
Yes.
So now it's your turn to answer number 9. Always memorize what does the question need before you go to read. Based on text, alright. How would author 2? يبقى we need response and reaction of 2. Respond to the underlined claim. What is the underlined claim? This point. So my job to understand the underlined. And while reading in text 2, I am looking for something related to the underlined only, not nothing else. Now let's memorize the underlined. So I always read very quickly, and when I come, I stop to summarize. In 19, okay. A production, all right. A lay-by me. It has since become a tradition for hundreds of dance companies in North America. The stage, okay. But the show is stuck in the past, means stopped in the past or has problems, with an old-fashioned story and references. So, because the show is stuck, so it should no longer be produced. This is the main point of the underline. And then when I am reading here, I'm looking for any information related to that only. So the Nutcracker is outdated. Look, it's supported. Old-fashioned story means outdated. But it should be kept, should be continuing, because it's a holiday favorite and provides substantial income for some dancing companies. So the writer says, okay, it is outdated, but it's still continuing. You feel it? That means my answer could be here, or the response could be there. But wait, although it can be behind the times, means it's old-fashioned, there are creative ways to update the show. And then he gives you example. So my focus must be in this part only. And here we have an example to prove the same idea. Now I can go to find, did the writer questioning the idea? And I told you a question means he doubt. He does not believe. He think that the idea is not certain yet. There must be more further studies to prove it. He didn't mention that. Yes or no?
Yes.
Remember, I'm looking for response in 2, so I should not go back to 1 a lot. But if that is related to what is mentioned in the text, there is no any synonym of the word the questions. So what is about letter A? So A is wrong. Again, by agreeing that contemporary audiences have largely stopped going to see, the author agreeing, okay, but he didn't mention the audience. They would like to go or not. He talks about the study and the content. But that means we add details not mentioned in 2. So letter B is wrong. By pointing out, explaining that most dance companies could increase their incomes by offering modernized versions of, this could be, he mentioned only here for increasing, provide substantial income for some dance companies. This is right. But this is not a response to the mention point. It's dated or not. But let's wait. By suggesting that dance companies should consider offering the revised versions instead of rejecting the show, yes. So he calls for it should be kept because it's a holiday favorite. And although it's behind, there are creative ways to update the show. That means he calls for to revise the versions, not only to reject the show. If so, letter D is the best answer related to content because the response and the underline, it does not talk about increasing income or not. So this means C not supported to the underlined or the response here. So that is, you feel it? You
Yes.
understand now? That's why. So I understand the question. First go. Let's jump to the next. Again, the main idea. Let's summarize. How can I summarize the main idea? Number one, the first sentence. To understand how, who is going to understand? I expect information, comma, subject. But wait, to understand how the Paleolithic artist navigated dark caves, archaeologist, who is going to understand these people? So to understand, they tested. They tested what different lighting methods in a cave in Spain using replicas of artifacts which are found in European caves art. Okay, so the team tested. And then he explained how did they test. They used 3 different Paleolithic light sources. To dishes to tell you more about the sources. Okay. To determining that it means a conclusion that each likely, each what? Each one likely had a specific purpose. And then we are going to give you example. So the team learned. So they concluded they found information. So my focus here about what did they learn? This is the main idea. Now let's find ideas not mentioned in the text at all. How about letter A? Is it supported or not? Let's read. Mandana Arcady and her team's study demonstrated that fireplaces were essential. The creators of cave art, did he mention that? That the fireplaces were essential? They didn't know that. They said here the animal flat lamps were less useful, not essential. They didn't mention fireplace was essential or necessary or important or vital too. So we give you ideas not mentioned there. Again, they discovered that Paleolithic cave artists in Spain used animal fat lamps more than they used torches. That is, no, they mentioned that were less useful, not more often used or not. So be it wrong. That's what I'm telling you about. We give you ideas not mentioned. Again, they reluctant to draw many conclusions. They refused. They wouldn't like to study and they tested. How? They tested and they used and they learned, not supported. So this expression helped me. Now here, letter D. They tested and then they learned. They tested, yes, they tested the light sources, as you mentioned in the text. And they learned more details about how traveled within dark caves. But that is correct. That's what. Imagine it.
Yeah.
That is the point. If so, letter D is supported and evident in the text. So your job right now, read